Hello everyone, welcome back, and today I just wanted to make a little video talking about some of the news that we've seen around Barcelona before El Clasico, and I'm going to try and make another preview for El Clasico tomorrow as well. But I think the biggest news that I've seen in the past couple days has just been about Frenkie De Jong. I think there's been this huge debate between Barcelona fans if Barcelona should sell him in the summer, if this is going to be the summer that Frenkie De Jong actually does leave Barcelona, because it's been reported that he might leave for the past couple seasons, and it never seems to actually establish reason for him to leave, and it doesn't seem like he wants to leave. So basically, I just wanted to talk about that, and then I also wanted to talk about the links from Dani Olmo from RB Leipzig coming back to Barcelona. He is from La Masia, from Barcelona's academy. So some interesting links, and also I wanted to talk a little bit about the Araujo and Gundogan comments, and everything's good there. So, I just wanted to talk about all of that today. And so I guess I'll start with the Frenkie De Jong thing, and I completely agree with a lot of the fans saying that Frenkie De Jong, he is a scapegoat for these big games, and I really don't think he did anything wrong in that game against PSG. I just don't think he did enough at the same time, but he wasn't in complete rhythm because he just came back from an injury, so I'm not going to be too harsh on his performance there, but I'm in agreement with a lot of other Barcelona fans that I feel like for someone that Barcelona pays so much, and he just has so much talent. You can tell how great he is on the ball. I just don't think he makes a footprint in as many games as he should be making, because I don't know. I'm hit or miss with him because I really like Frenkie De Jong. I definitely am not actively saying Barcelona should sell him, but at the same time, I actually would not be against Barcelona selling him in the summer. And maybe that's reactionary. I don't know. I think of these big games, and you want your best players, you want your big money midfielders to step up and to find a way to impact the game. And the PSG game, I mean, he was down, it was 10-11, so it's definitely not his fault. And again, it's not just that performance at all. I just feel like there are a lot of games like that. And I just feel like the main problem with Frenkie De Jong right now is he doesn't have a direct role in the team. He's trying to play as a double pivot, but defensively he's a liability, to be honest. And I just like when he has a lot more freedom on the ball, when he's able to go forward, because there was a season, I think it was under Ronald Koeman, where he did really well. Like he was scoring, he was assisting, he was finding ways to impact the final third, and when Barcelona gave him that freedom, he was able to showcase his skills a lot better. And I think now a lot of the time he's receiving the ball, and he's great with the ball. He never really loses possession. He's great with turns. I mean, a lot of people just say he basically just turns in a circle and then passes it sideways. I disagree with that. He's great on the ball, of course, and he does like receiving it from the defenders. But I don't know, maybe he would be better in a more free role rather than playing as a double pivot. And most of the time, he's not even playing with a defensive midfielder. I think when he was playing with Christensen, I think he was doing better. So it's a difficult situation. I wouldn't be against Barcelona selling him in the summer, but I understand some Barcelona fans just being upset because, maybe he's not doing as much in these big games, or as much as we would expect him to be doing. And I don't want to take anything away from the player that Frenkie De Jong is, because I think if he goes to Man City, if he goes to Arsenal, if he goes to Bayern Munich, he would thrive. He would be one of the best in the world in his position again. And I think it's just been a rough season for him. I think it's been a rough season for Barcelona as a whole. And you felt like he had a lot more freedom when he was playing with Busquets. He was able to go further forward, and he didn't have those defensive tasks that Xavi's handed him this season. And I just don't think he's able to handle those, to be honest. And I don't think that's best suited for the skills that he has, and doesn't play towards his strengths. I think most of the time I just feel like he's doing a lot of dirty work, but he just doesn't have that defensive awareness to really shine in that role. So it's just kind of a confusing time for Frenkie De Jong. I don't think Barcelona are getting the best out of him. And some Barcelona fans say maybe the best thing for Barcelona and Frenkie De Jong is to go their separate ways. Again, I'm not actively pushing that, but I would understand Barcelona listening to offers in the summer. And I said the same exact thing last year. I would understand them listening to offers, but at the same time, I have a feeling that Frenkie De Jong is going to be playing for Barcelona, and I'm definitely not mad at that. And some Barcelona fans were saying if every midfielder is healthy, then Frenkie De Jong wouldn't have a place in the team, because, of course, there would be a defensive midfielder, and then for the two holding midfielders, it would be either Pedri, Gavi, Gundogan, or Frenkie. And some people say that Pedri, Gundogan, and Gavi are all above Frenkie De Jong right now. And I just think we can never plan on Barcelona having a completely healthy team. Like, just in the past couple years, that's not something that Barcelona have been able to do, really. they've almost never been healthy, to be honest. I think there's always been at least one or two key players out in almost every single game for Barcelona, and we've seen that in the past couple months. Of course, Gavi getting injured at the beginning of the season was a really harsh injury. I mean, that was just terrible. So unfortunate because he was having such a good season, and he's such an important part of Barcelona. But I don't think Barcelona can go into a season thinking, okay, we have a starting three, and this is how our season is going to go. They're going to be able to play every game. That's never been the case, and I don't think Barcelona should be planning for that to be the case next season, because even though I would love to see that happen, I hope every single player has a very healthy season. You just got to be realistic, and you got to think that Barcelona, they haven't been able to do that, so I don't think that all of that is going to change by the beginning of next season. And I really like Frenkie De Jong as a person, and I also think he's just a staple to Barcelona, and he's a joy to watch, to be honest. On the ball, he's great. There's not many other players in the world that are better than him on the ball. But I think his role right now is lost. And, I think maybe another coach comes in and they would be able to unlock Frenkie De Jong. It's very likely. I mean, it's 99% sure that Xavi is leaving in the summer. Unless Laporta somehow, for some reason, tries to, make Xavi stay, even though Xavi clearly does not want to. Another coach is going to come in, and I think Frenkie De Jong, he might have a different role next season. And I hope that he does, because right now, this role where he's playing as a double pivot, but he has tasks that he has to do defensively. He has to track back. He's just lost in that role, and then he's not able to really go too far forward, and he doesn't really impact the play that much. Yeah, I mean, he's great at controlling the ball. He's great at controlling and dictating the tempo. But I just feel like Barcelona, they could be getting more out of the player that Frenkie De Jong is, because we've all seen, his great performances. There is an incredible player in there, and some Barcelona fans, again, are saying it'd be better if he leaves, if he goes to Bayern Munich. There were reports that Bayern were going to look to sign him in the summer for around 60 to 70 million. I think Frenkie De Jong is worth more than that. I think if he was on the market playing for another team right now, Barcelona fans would say, let's bring him in. So, I don't know. It's a difficult situation, but some Barcelona fans think sell him for 90, 100 million and then go buy a defensive midfielder, which Barcelona obviously need going into next season. I think you can't just rely solely on Christensen in that spot, so I understand all of that, to be honest. But I will be honest and admit that I'm also getting caught up in the reactive takes because, again, if Araujo didn't get sent off, Barcelona would have played 11v11. I think they would have gone through, and there would be no talks about Frenkie De Jong leaving in the summer. I mean, I think there would have been reports that, Frenkie De Jong just came back from an injury, and he did decent against PSG, and he helped Barcelona go through, and just, again, coming back from injury. I think there would have been completely different reports, and it's not like he played bad. Yes, he had some, bad decisions defensively that, maybe he fell asleep a little bit. He didn't mark his man enough. And, yeah, but the thing is, he's trying very hard. He loves Barcelona. He wants to stay at Barcelona. I don't know. It's just a difficult situation. I think we're going to continue to talk more about this as we go into the summer. I have a feeling that Frenkie De Jong is going to stay at Barcelona next season, and I'd be interested and excited to see what the next coach does with Frenkie De Jong, because right now what Xavi is doing with him, I just don't think it's getting the best out of Frenkie De Jong, and it's also just not getting the best out of Barcelona, to be honest. It's just this role that he's in right now, it's just not working, and I hope Barcelona, they find a solution in the summer. I don't really want to see him go, but for 100 million, like I said last summer, I would understand if Barcelona were listening to offers for him. And then moving on to Dani Olmo, I really like Dani Olmo as a player, but the rumored fee of around 60 million, I just don't think that's a smart decision for Barcelona to spend 60 million. There are also reports that they were going to pay in installments. I don't know. I'm sure you all would agree with me that I don't think Dani Olmo is a 60 million euro worth player. I think he's great. Honestly, every time I've watched him, I think he's really good, and he is a Spanish attacking midfielder. That would be a great addition to Barcelona's team, because I think sometimes they do lack that creativity, that ability to break down a defense and to play a line-breaking pass, to have a great dribble in the box and end up opening up the play. Yes, Dani Olmo would definitely add that, but 60 million given the current financial situation, and Barcelona, reportedly not having enough to buy a defensive midfielder, that's where I feel like Barcelona's priorities, they should be different. And also, if Barcelona could buy anyone from RB Leipzig, I would hope it would be Xavi Simons. I know he left in a bad way. Some Barcelona fans are probably still upset about that. Man, I really like him as a player. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. And I know it would be more difficult to do business with him because he's on loan from PSG. I don't think PSG would let him go for 60 million. I don't know if they would really even let him go at all in the summer, because I think with Mbappe leaving, they'll have plans for him to be back at PSG. Yeah, that's not really likely to happen. I think Dani Olmo, I mean, you could kind of guess that Barcelona were going to be linked to him in the summer. I feel like they've been linked to him for a couple summers in a row. It never materializes. I don't think he would be a bad fit at Barcelona. He'd probably be playing in that left wing position or as an attacking midfielder on the left side. But I don't know. I think it's not a bad signing for maybe 30 million. I'd be okay with Barcelona spending that, but man, 60 million is a lot, to be honest. And there are a couple holes that Barcelona they need to fill in their roster for next season. I don't think they would be able to do that in the summer, spending 60 million on Dani Olmo. And I don't know what other Barcelona fans feel about this. I didn't really read the comments or anything. I just saw the report. And again, I'm not really surprised by this. I feel like after a defeat like that, you see some links, some, big money signings that Barcelona are going to look to make in the summer. And most of the time it doesn't really happen, but it's still interesting to talk about. I just think Barcelona, their priorities should be elsewhere. I think they should be signing a defensive midfielder. And if they're able to sign like a left-sided attacker, I would rather it be someone more direct, I think. I don't know. I mean, Dani Olmo I don't think is bad. When I've watched him for RB Leipzig, he's played as like a right wing, right attacking midfielder. I don't think he's bad there. And yeah, I haven't watched enough of RB Leipzig in the past couple years. I think every time I do watch him, sometimes he's a little bit quiet, but you can tell that he is a great player. He just, when he gets on the ball, he does find a way to impact the game, but I just feel like he kind of drifts in and out of games. It sometimes reminds me of Joao Felix in that way, but I don't know. I think Dani Olmo is a great player, but Barcelona, if it's 60 million, I would personally pass on that. I don't know how you all feel about that. And then, of course, the other big news was around Gundogan and Araujo, and this whole situation, it seemed like a little bit blown out of proportion. I did make another video just basically saying that Gundogan didn't say anything wrong. And if you all didn't know, Gundogan came out after the game. He said, yeah, we're obviously really frustrated because we had it in our hands and we completely gave it away, which is true. And he also said, you can't get sent off in a game like that. If you want to go on and win, you can't play with a man down for 60 minutes. That's also true. So Gundogan said nothing wrong. And like a lot of Barcelona fans have said, he just came from captaining a treble-winning team. So his standards are different. Yeah, he's been a professional for 11 years at the top level, and he's won one Champions League. It's a very difficult competition to win, and that's why there's such small margins, and that's why he knows Barcelona can be better. He wants to motivate them to get better next season, so I don't think he said anything wrong. And Araujo, just based on the translation, it kind of seemed like he maybe took a little bit of offense. He wasn't exactly happy with those comments, but everything's good now. Obviously, they're both professionals. That was never really going to be blown into some huge ordeal that Barcelona were going to have to navigate around. No, it wasn't going to be like that. Araujo and Gundogan are both competitors. They both want the best of Barcelona, so everything is good there, of course. But I also want to make another video talking about Barcelona versus Real Madrid, which is on Sunday. Obviously, a Clasico is huge. It probably, to be honest, isn't going to mean much for the league. I think Barcelona, to get a win there, it would obviously be great. And I think Barcelona, they're typically pretty good in Clasicos. It's away from home. Real Madrid just knocked Man City out while Barcelona just got knocked out in that fashion. So I feel like, the energy levels might be a little bit different from Barcelona to Real Madrid. But it's still a Clasico. It's still important. And, for Real Madrid, they kind of want to cement the league. And Barcelona, they want to stay in the running. So, they both have a reason to try and win this game. So, and of course, it's a Clasico. It doesn't. If nothing was on the line, if it was a preseason, everyone would still be trying as hard as they can. So it's obviously going to be a great game on Sunday, I hope. And as always, thank you very much for watching my videos. I do appreciate it, and I'm going to try and continue to post every day. I did miss one because, sometimes there's just gaps in time where there's really not much going on at Barcelona, and I feel like there are just some rumors that, I don't think that have that much validity to them. The Dani Olmo one, I don't feel like it's going to happen in the summer. I just feel like Barcelona are continuing to be linked to him. But it's possible. I could definitely see it. And also, I wanted to talk about Frenkie De Jong because there's just been a huge debate from Barcelona fans on Twitter. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about all of that. And, again, thank you very much for watching my video. I do appreciate it. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Peace.